Hey, 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 you're waking up with Craig.
Good morning on this nice Wednesday. I hope everybody has a safe drive to work. I hope everybody is doing well. Let's get right to it. Sports do not build character, they reveal it. Haywood Brown. We have a lot of teams that have a chance to reveal some character this weekend. We are going to find out a lot about certain teams, specifically Georgia, Ohio State, and Oklahoma. Those teams are battling for that fourth spot, and we're going to find out a lot about them. Now, the rankings came out. Alabama 1, correct. Clemson 2, yes. Notre Dame 3, absolutely. Then Georgia 4, 5 Oklahoma, 6 Ohio State. I like how that stands. But you know what? I don't know if that's how it's going to finish out. I think Alabama beats Georgia by 2 touchdowns. So Georgia has 2 losses. I think they're out. I think Oklahoma is going to lose to Texas. I think it happens again. And I think Ohio State is going to be that fourth team in. It's going to be total chaos, though, if all 3 of those teams lose: Georgia, Oklahoma, Ohio State. If Georgia beats Alabama, Alabama should be the 4. Georgia would move up to 3. Clemson would move up to 1. Notre Dame would move up to 2. Now, there's been a lot of talk about should the playoffs expand beyond 4 teams. The next jump a lot of people are talking about is 6. If you're going to do 6, just do 8. Don't give anyone buys. Just have 1 play 8, 2 play 7, 3 play 6, 4 play 5, if that's what you decide to do. In all honesty, I'm okay if they keep it at 4. A lot of teams are 5 through 8, could be contenders, but at the same time, you make your own schedule most of the time. I mean, yes, you have conference games, but those out of conference games, go schedule somebody. I mean, if your schedule isn't good enough, that's on you. I think that it'd be more exciting with 8 teams just because I think an upset for one of the top 4 teams could happen. But in all honesty, I just don't see the need for 8 teams. I think the top 4 teams are going to be one of the teams that win it, whether there's 4 teams or 8 teams. But I guess it would make for more money and better TV. But in all honesty, it doesn't really matter to me. Now, we talked about revealing character this weekend. So 2 teams that have revealed characters: the rise of the birds. The Ravens and the Seahawks have shown me that they are starting to get back to what they used to be. And someone asked me the other day, who's more dangerous in the playoffs? And I think both teams have a little bit of a struggle to get to the playoffs, but if they get there, which could make more noise? I think the AFC is going to be tough. I think the Pats and Chiefs are hot. The Texans have won 8 straight. The Chargers are a great team. And the Steelers, I mean, they can put up points with anybody. So I think if the Ravens are the last team in, I think that's kind of going to be tough for them. But if the Seahawks get in as the 6th seed, go play the Bears, they could compete with them. They had like a 3-score or 1 touchdown game. They play the Cowboys. If they're the 5 seed, they could go compete with them. So I think the team that's the most dangerous in the playoffs is the Seahawks, because I've seen them compete with playoff teams. And also, if they win one of those games and then go play the Rams, I mean, they've had 2 tight games with the Rams. And I don't think, you never know what's going to happen there. But speaking of the Rams, I got to ask a question, and it's been talked about a lot lately. Would you rather have Saquon or Todd Gurley? I don't even know why we have this debate. Saquon's had a great year. He's going to be a great running back. He's a promising young star. But there's nobody better at running back right now than Todd Gurley. He does it all. He is an absolute animal. He has the most fantasy points. He is a stud, and he is just a winner. And when I see Todd Gurley, he is a guy that you say MVP, he comes to mind. He is a guy that comes to mind. Do I think Saquon in 3 to 5 years or even next year could be that guy? Absolutely. But right now, to me, it is Todd Gurley. Now, another discussion that we've got to start talking about. Who are the top 5 wide receivers in the NFL right now? I've given this a lot of thought, and it's not as easy as, oh, it's done, it's over. It's taken a lot of thought for me. So here it goes. This year, to me, DeAndre Hopkins is my number one. He is making some plays and catches that nobody else can make. Second this year is Antonio Brown. He is number 2 for me. Third is Odell. He makes plays, and yes, they haven't had a great year, but he makes plays that certain people shouldn't make. Fourth for me is Adam Thielen. He is having a monster year. 9 games over 100 yards. I don't care what anybody says. I don't want to hear the argument. That catch he made in between 2 Packers the other night and the one he made earlier this year against the Packers, those are unbelievable catches. Those are unbelievable plays. He has great hands. He has great route running. And to finish out my top 5 is Julio Jones. To me, he just doesn't get in the end zone enough. AJ Green, Mike Evans, they've had okay years. Been banged up a little bit. Devontae Adams is right there at 6 for me. He's almost in. He's had 10 plus touchdowns the last 3 seasons. Yes, I just think Adam Thielen has outplayed him this year, and Julio Jones is just a stud. He's an all-around stud. But a receiver that got traded, Amari Cooper, went to the Cowboys, and the Cowboys seem to be a different team. However, is the NFC East the Cowboys again? I think it is. I really, really, really do. And the Giants have some young stars with Odell and Saquon and some stuff on the defense that I think they could be good next year or the year after. But I think they have a lot more to clean up than they really realize they do. The Redskins, I don't think they're ever going to be a great team just because Alex Smith is a game manager, and that's the reality of it. The Eagles, they've had so many injuries. I don't know if last year was a fluke or not. I need to see them healthy. With Zeke at running back, Amari Cooper at receiver, Dak playing okay right now, and their defense is good, I think the Cowboys are the best team in the NFC East, even if the Eagles are healthy. I think that Zeke is one of the top 5 running backs in the NFL. Amari Cooper has resurged as a receiver there. I think they need to get one more weapon for Dak. I think they need to get him a reliable tight end. But besides that, the Cowboys are playing great. But we mentioned the Eagles. What is the Eagles' biggest issue this year? And to me, it comes down to injuries. Even with Nick Foles at the start of the season, with Carson Wentz, neither of them have looked like themselves. They had 5 their top 5 defensive backs the other day were all out. They were trying receivers at practice. They didn't have Alshon Jeffrey for a little bit. They lost Sproles for a little bit. They lost Jay Ajayi for the year. They got Adams at running back, who'd be a 3rd string on some other teams. He's played well, but he's not their top guy. They've had defensive guys out. To me, the Eagles are probably the 2nd best team in that division in the NFC East. They just have too many injuries, and right now, I think that's their biggest issue. I guess they could go out and get some more guys on the outside, but they got Aguilar, they got Jeffrey, they got Ertz, who's one of the top 3 tight ends in the league. Let me tell you that right now. And I don't think this is Doug Peterson. He's a great coach, risky coach. To me, this is seriously just a injury issue, and I think next year the Eagles will be back to a contending team. Do I think they'll go 13-3 again? Absolutely not. But could they go 10-6, 11-5? Sure, especially in the NFC East. That's not one of the stronger divisions. Now, the Eagles have the injury bug. That gets them out of their biggest issue. The Packers' biggest issue is Mike McCarthy. And yes, he's the 25 most winningest coach of all time. Yeah, he can write a thank you letter to Aaron Rodgers and send one every day for the rest of his life, and it still wouldn't be enough. Aaron Rodgers is a top 5 QB of all time. He is a great quarterback. As much as I hate the Packers, he is a great quarterback. And McTubby's just wasting his time. Not everything the other night was McTubby's fault, but Mike McCarthy is just not a good coach. They need someone younger. They need to get a fresh mind in there, someone who is a great offensive mind, and someone who can work with Rodgers. Can they run the table this year? No. Nope, they won't run the table the rest of the year. They have Arizona. You should get a win there. They have the Jets left. I'll give you a win there. They have the Lions. It's at home. I'll give you a win there. They have the Bears. At Chicago, probably not. I'm sorry. Atlanta, that's going to be tough at home, but you'd never know what Atlanta team's going to show up. So yeah, maybe they can go 4-1, but they got to win out, and I just don't see them winning all 5. I know Bo wants to talk about the Bears collapse, but I don't see the Bears collapse coming. And I mean, I want it to. I want the Vikings to win the division, but I don't see it coming. And I think the Packers lose at least 1 game, maybe 2 games, and that keeps them out of the playoffs this year. And that is enough to get Mike McCarthy fired. What NFL team has the darkest future ahead of them? I talked about the Packers. It's not them. We've talked about the Ravens, Seahawks, Eagles, injury bug. It's not them. I think it's the Jaguars, to be honest with you. I really do. It's the Bengals are an obvious. They have so much going wrong, but the other team to me is the Jaguars. The Jaguars don't have a quarterback. They have Blake Bortles for 2 more years after this. That is stupid. Get rid of him. But they're going to keep him. They don't really have receivers. If you wanted to, I saw shows after week 3 or 4 where D.D. Westbrook was the number 1. He was a top 10. Get that out of my face. That is garbage. D.D. Westbrook sucks. Leonard Fournette's okay, but he's always hurt. They have too much personality on the defense. I liked the Ramsey stuff and Boye, but they got so much going on the defense. Too much personality. Doug Marrone is not a great coach. He's okay. He can manage, but he's not a coach that's going to change a system. I'm worried for the Jaguars. I really, really, really am. They got a lot of young guys, and I don't think Doug Marrone is the right guy to coach that team and get them to the mature level they need to be at. The best college game this weekend, to me, I thought about Ohio State Northwestern, and I think that's going to be a really, really, really good game. And I thought about Georgia, Alabama, but I think Alabama wins by 2 touchdowns or more. I'm looking to that Texas-Oklahoma showdown. I really am. I think it's going to be a great rematch. I think Texas wins again. I think they just want it. I think they really, really do want it. And their season has not gone as they planned towards the end. And I think they just want to make a statement that the first win wasn't a fluke. They are legit. They are here to stay, and they are only going to get better with time. I'm really looking forward to that Texas-Oklahoma game. Early prediction for me? I think Texas wins 48-45. Texas beats Oklahoma 48-45. We flip to the other side, professional football. The best game of the week to me, it's not even close. It's Vikings at Patriots. This is a Sunday 4:25 game. This is going to be one of the greatest games of this year. And I'll give you a little prediction. I think this game goes to overtime. And I think that with all of the bad kicking woos in the past, Dan Bailey hits a field goal for the win in overtime from 48 yards. That's my prediction. And I know I'm a homer. I love my Vikings. Dan Bailey hits a field goal in overtime from 48 yards to beat the Patriots at Gillette Stadium. That is going to be a spot-on prediction. I just think that Kirk Cousins is going to go toe-to-toe with Brady. Before the other primetime game, he was 0 for 3. And I know this isn't primetime, but this is pretty damn close. Brady, Cousins, Belichick, Zimmer's proven himself as a head coach at running the defense. This is going to be one of the greatest games this year, and I promise you that. I can't wait to see it. But our closing thing for today, we go from one Boston team to another. The Celtics. Walker Thomas, a dear friend of ours, said that Kyrie is the problem for the Celtics and not the answer. I think Kyrie is a baller. I think he's a gamer. I think he's someone that knows how to win. I don't think he's the problem right now. I think the problem is we have too many guys that don't want to win. I'm not impressed with Jaylen Brown this year. Tatum has been a slight disappointment from all the expectations that were put on him. Hayward is not what he was before, but he's getting there. He is getting there. Marcus Smart seems like the only one that and Aaron Baines want to play defense. I think the problem is way deeper than Kyrie. I think Kyrie, is he the answer? Maybe not, but he's definitely not the problem to me. Kyrie Irving is going to win us games down the road. The East is tough. I agree with that. I think the Sixers got better with Butler. I think the Raptors are a very good team. I think the Bucks are good. But the Celtics are going to get the job done when it comes down to it. I'm looking forward to what Brad Stevens has planned. I'm excited for the end of the season. And I think the Celtics need to get on a little bit of a hot streak because 10 losses in 21 games, 11-10 is not great. I agree. But I'd rather have them playing great when May, April come around than right now in November. And yes, these games matter, but I want them to get hot at the right time. I don't want them to peak too early. And I think the Bucks have peaked a little bit too early. But Kyrie Irving, he's not the problem, but he might not be the answer either. I love that we started Marcus Smart. I think he could be the answer, and he could get this team fired up. Everybody, thank you for listening. Have a wonderful Wednesday. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Remember, follow the Waking Up with Craig Twitter account, subscribe on the YouTube channel, and thank you for listening. And remember, keep on balling.